Everybody says owning a home is a goal. But if you're retiring at 55 on a fixed income, is buying a home really better than renting? We're going to be breaking down renting versus buying in retirement, the pros and the cons of what really makes sense, and living on a fixed income. We're also going to be talking about the truths about a paid off house and why property tax still matters, and how to think about housing in a way that protects your finances and your peace. Let's go. So let's start the conversation. Ladies, this is always the biggest topic when it comes to retiring on a fixed income, retiring early or retiring later. It's always about, should you buy, should you rent, where you gonna live, da 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 da, all the different things. But we're here to have the conversation, open a dialogue up, be vulnerable and things of that nature, so we can really, really dive deep into this conversation. Because I have questions too. I sit and I tell you guys all the time what I want to do, what I'm going to do, and things like that. But as we keep on and keep on and keep on and keep on, some things pop up. You guys know I do live in a home. I do have a mortgage. So these are definitely questions that I think about. Like, should I keep my house? Should I sell my house? Should I get a condo? Should I just go ahead and rent? Yes, rent goes up, but your mortgage goes up as well. But not your mortgage not your mortgage itself. It's normally the mortgage payment due to the increase in escrow if you have all of that stuff combined in, like taxes and whatnot. Well, we'll get into that later. I'm just, jumping ahead of the thing here. We was taught that buying a home was like the smart move. We were taught that buying a home was the American dream. We were taught so many different things in society through other people's lenses what was right. Meanwhile, we need to do what's right for us. Everybody does not need to follow the same regime, if you will, because I sit back and think about how, as I grew up, you're fed through Disney, you're fed through this, you're fed through that about getting married, getting a husband, having children, getting a house, the picket fence, the dog. That's the American dream. Have a decent job or have a good job. Go get a degree. These are all the things they tell you to do, and that'll make it right for you, down to your home. Your home is in there too. So it's like, we need to start doing things that benefit us and not benefit society. Yes, we still have to follow the rules, because sometimes you just got to follow the rules. But you can still do things that benefit you. Okay? So we got that piece out. I want us to think about what housing choices that give us the most stability on a fixed income. And I know I sit and I say, yeah, you have your fixed income, you know what you have coming in addition to things that you may have investments for, and all the different things, and what you may have coming in. And even if you get a part-time job, all the different things, but those are additionals. We want to know what's the guarantees coming in. If we choose to do work or if we don't choose to work, what do we have coming in? So what are the best choices in that scenario? So in saying all of that, I want to talk about something that really doesn't get honest conversation around, and that's retirement planning. Sometimes we can be a little delusional. I'm not going to sit and say I haven't, because I got something for you. But when it comes to retirement planning, we really have to understand the difference between buying and renting. Because there's so much that goes into buying, there's so much that goes into renting, and sometimes we just look at the picture. So looking at the bigger picture, we could look at a picture and say, oh, the picture's pretty, it's nice. But we don't look at all the details in the picture. That flower back there, that this back there. It's a lot. It's a lot. And like I mentioned before, a lot of us was told that having a home, buying a home is a goal. It's a goal. But once you start talking about retiring at 55, living on a fixed income, wanting peace, flexibility, and financial stability, the answer may not be that simple. So why does this really matter more? retiring at 55, especially for me, your money has to stretch longer. You have to make your money stretch. That's a lot. You're thinking about, because you're trying to wait on Social Security. If you retire at 55, depending on where you work, and I done got some rude awakening at my place of employment, thinking what I could do, and I come to find out I can't even do some certain things. But we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. Housing is usually one of the most biggest expense you'll have, probably next to a car or something like that. Or maybe, who knows? I don't know. But I'm thinking about, for me, housing would probably be my most expensive bill, and come next would be a car. And I would include car insurance in that as well. Not unless you have like an umbrella of different things under your home insurance. You got home, you got life, and then you have auto. That's what I have, because the more you have, the cheaper it goes. So something I do recommend, but your housing bill will probably be your most expensive bill. And knowing that your housing bill will be your most expensive, we can make bad decisions, and that can make us stressed out for years. If you make a bad housing decision, like moving to the wrong neighborhood, spending too much, trying to save, and the next thing you know, you got all kind of rigmarole going on in the house or in the apartment, whatever that might be. It's like sometimes you got to really sit back and think about where you can actually live for the long haul. Like, do you want to keep moving and moving and moving and moving? Let me tell you something. I like to move. This has probably been, these last 18 years have been the longest I have stayed still. Before I moved to North Carolina, I was a mover. My mom called me a gypsy. Do you hear me? A gypsy, because I like new. It doesn't have to be a new apartment, but I like new, meaning I like to move to a new apartment, new feel, new energy. I love that type of thing. I'm a Gemini rising. So, Geminis like to keep it moving. They like to keep it busy, all different things. And I embody that. Let me tell you something. But it got to be cozy. I don't mind moving, but it got to be cozy. But on fixed incomes, you don't want no surprise costs. You don't want anything popping up. And I know some things are inevitable. Some things do happen, and you can't know what's coming up. Like, rent raises. The rent can go up. Rent goes, I think it's 3%. It can go up every year, 3%. And you can sign a 15-month lease if you have that option. But I know since I've been living here, my mortgage has definitely went up 3 times. My payment. My bank, I'm gonna say bank payment, because my mortgage has stayed the same due to taxes. I live in an area that is being built up. So I'm paying for that. And my neighbors and everybody else in the neighborhood is paying for that. And I wanted to live in a new neighborhood versus before. My house was new, but my neighborhood wasn't new. So my taxes didn't really go up. It went up, but it wasn't nothing dramatic. Nothing be like, I got to get out of here. But I am definitely seeing it, and I'm seeing it now at 49 in this home. And it's like you sit back and look at other homes that might be less expensive and things like that, but there's so much nuance to think about in this climate when you're trying to retire and think about the renting versus buying. So this is for me. So when wanting to retire at 55, you don't have to have luxury. This decision is one of the biggest decisions that can either help your retirement feel peaceful or make it feel tight, stressful, and uncertain. And we don't want that. Before we get into which is better, let's talk about what buying really gives you and what it still will cost you. The pros of buying in retirement. So even though if I have a home or I choose to buy a condo later on and sell this, and however it may go, right? I'm still in the buying process, because if you haven't paid it off in 30 years, 15 years, however that might look for you, 10 years, you're still in the buying mode because you're still paying it off. So what does that look like? What do we got going on here? What are perks? Buying can absolutely be a strong choice in retirement, but only under the right conditions. You'll have stability. no landlord, no lease renewal, and no uncertainty. Remember I said no lease renewal. That, keep that in the back pocket, the back one. You're just not renewing the lease. You have predictability of your mortgage. Your mortgage. You know what your mortgage is. That is it. Your mortgage. That's it. Either, and I'm not trying to be funny here, but even if it's fixed or if it's paid off, it's a fixed situation. You know what it is. Equity. That's the part I love about having a home. Equity. So even if it's paid off or if it's not paid off, you still get equity. So if you do sell, you get the equity. And if you sell above whatever your house is worth, you get that and more. Hi, this is Future Kelly. Buying a home is a tool, so you can use it for wealth. That's why everybody say, get a home, get a home, get a home. So you can build wealth within real estate. You buy, you earn equity, you sell, wash, rinse, repeat. Build a portfolio and you let your money grow. That's why I like home ownership. That's why I like it, because you can make quick money. If you have a conventional loan, you can move whenever you want. And see, like for me, I didn't even sign on a dotted line yet. Paperwork was still being drawn up. And I had gained money before I even bought the house. Now, there's some perks. You have control over your decor. You have control over your walls, all different things. When you have a home, you can paint the walls where you want to. You can build on, you can break a wall down, do whatever you want to do. Even if you do not own the home, you can still take a wall down if you want to. You have unlimited access to renovation. You can age in place. You don't have to go anywhere. This can be your forever home. All the different things, right? Emotional security. Some people feel safer knowing that they have a home and this is where they're going to be, and they know this is what they're going to have and they're paying down on it. It's just a fixed situation. And also, you have potential for lower monthly mortgage. Now, that's due to refinancing and things like that. If you want to refinance for a lower interest rate, if you have something on the higher side, depending on when you purchased your home. So, back during COVID, you was getting them 2% and 1%, things like that. I know somebody that got a 1.4. I'm like, baby, all you paying is principal. Good for you. Good for you. I have a fixed rate, so I'm good. I don't have any of those balloon umbrellas and fix me. Okay. I think anything under, say, 5 or 4%, 3 point something, you're good. You're good. But also keep in mind, I've mentioned things like it's a fixed rate and things like that. Always remember, depending on where you live, if you're in a rural area, you won't have this. But if you're in some of the city limits, think about property taxes, HOA, things like that. That will definitely be added on, and your HOA can definitely go up, because mine has went up twice in 4 years. But on a good note, home ownership can be a blessing in retirement, especially if it fits in your budget and it fits in your fixed income. But I have to, be that girl to tell you, there's some cons too. There's some cons to having a home. And sometimes people don't really look into it that deep. They just say, oh, we'll get to it. But you have to factor these items in. I'm about to get tongue-tied here, but you have to factor these in. So here's some cons. It's not just a mortgage payment. How I see it, it's a full package of ongoing responsibilities that will never stop. Never. Property taxes, homeowners insurance, maintenance and repairs. You just can't call the maintenance man to fix it. You got to literally call somebody, and then you have to pay for labor fees and then the cost of the part or whatever that might be. Don't ask me how I know. I've been there. HOA fees, condo fees, maintenance fees, all the different things that you have to pay. Those things will cover, say, your street lights, the front of your subdivision, if you have a park, things like that. If you have a pool, if you have a fitness room, things like that, it'll definitely take care of those things. So they say. And there's always a big surprise. Something is going to do something, okay? The roof, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, or either the appliances. Something is going to happen. I had to get my water heater flushed, my heating situation, my HVAC situation, all within 4 years on a brand new house. Same thing of my other house. Yeah. And that's extra. That is extra. And yes, you may say, well, Kelly, you're not paying for that every month. No, you're not. But when you do pay for it and you divide it by 12, it's a nice little chunk. It's like paying a light bill, depending on what it is. Yard care and upkeep. I pay $50 every 2 weeks to get my grass cut. In addition to all of that, you have no flexibility if a life event happen. You can definitely move if you want to. You have to, find you a realtor. You got to put your house on the market so it can be sold. You have to go through some things. There's no flexibility. You have to really wait to get things done. You just can't up and go and leave, because then you'll lose out on your investment. You'll lose out on that equity. And we don't want to do that. Okay? And especially if you did some things in the home that brought the value up in the home, we don't want to do that. But those things I think about when you just can't up and go when you want to. You got to really find somebody, put the house up, sign paperwork. You got to really follow the order of real estate. So this is where people get caught up. They look at the mortgage and think that's the whole story. But the mortgage is not the whole story. The real question is, can you afford the full cost once life starts lifing? Baby. Because life gonna life regardless. You can have all your ducks in a row. You could be living on your income. You like everything's on auto, money coming in, this coming on the 15th, this coming on first. You got what you need, but life just happens. Things we just can't control. You know what I mean? So let's get into the truth about a paid off house. So we just talked about, having a house, you're paying a mortgage, all things that go into it. So now your house is paid off. Because everybody keeps saying, my house is paid off. My house is paid off. Okay, your house is paid off. I ain't never going to pay a house off. That is not the goal. I know Dave Ramsey be like, pay off your house, pay off your house. Everybody see things differently. And that's the beauty of it. And that's what I love, that we all can be individuals in this moment here. You can own your home. You are free and clear of a mortgage payment for the house, but you will still have ongoing property and land related cost. Well, I paid for my land. I own my land. No, you don't. You paid for it. You paid for it. Because let me tell you something. I thought the same thing. I done paid for it. I paid for it. Not when you still owing your county, your city, your state money for it. You don't own it because you still have to pay to keep it. I'm telling you, once you miss a payment or two, they're not going to snatch the lamp up underneath the house. And then if you don't even have one of them homes, like the module homes, where you could like pick the home up and take it somewhere else, well, Lord knows how much that costs. But let's just, get into it. Yes, you can fully own your home. You can. You can fully own your home. Yes. I don't want to act like that can't happen. However, it does not mean you can stop paying to live there. You got real estate taxes that can fall into state and local taxes. You still owe insurance. You still got to pay that insurance on that home. So now it's not in your escrow anymore. So the bank going to drop it, and now they're going to send you that bill right to your house. Now you got to pay it. Either you pay it on a monthly basis or you pay it yearly, however that go. That's a lot. And I'm sitting back thinking, with property taxes and with insurance, that still can kind of calculate up to something pretty. But we're gonna get into that. I don't want to jump the gun. Let me stay in my lane. Let me stay in my lane. And you have association fees if you still live with an HOA or something like that. You still got those fees. Those are not going anywhere. And I know here in North Carolina, any unpaid taxes, a lien can be put on your home and set up for foreclosure. They don't play out here. They do not play. So in saying that paid off doesn't mean cost free. You still gonna pay. This is the part I really want us to think about. A lot of us are sit and say, my house is paid off and I'm good. And yes, you do own your home, but ownership does not cancel out property tax, insurance, repairs, and upkeep. So the truth is, paid off and free is not the same thing. So in saying all of that, you can own the deed, but still have ongoing costs that will disrupt your peace. But let's move on. So what about renting? What about renting? Let's talk about renting. Let's talk about renting. Now, I'm going to let you know right up, yes, you still have to pay to live. You got to pay to live. Ain't no getting around that. Either you going to buy, build some equity, or you just going to rent. And as they say, the money's going down the drain. The money is never going down the drain when it's putting a roof over your head. That's how I look at it. Same goes for a car. You're driving that car. You're not gaining nothing from that car. You know, not unless you buy the car right out. And then next time you sell it and you get something for it, but you probably won't even get what you paid for it because a car depreciates. Just giving you a little example. I tell you, my wheels be turning. I see things differently in some days, and some days I don't. It all just depends on the moment. But today I'm seeing things a little bit different. But renting is not an automatic wasting money or a waste of money. For some retirees, it can be more peaceful and a strategic move. We're going to get into that strategic move. You have fewer surprises and you have no repair costs because that's going to be taken care of through your maintenance. You know, if something breaks. I mean, like where my daughter lives at. If a light goes out, she can call them and say, I need a new light bulb. They'll bring her a new light bulb. I know where I used to live at, especially in New York, you had to buy your own damn light bulbs. You need a filter changed because, you know, if you got central AC in your apartment, they will come change the filters. I don't got to go to Walmart, Target, or freaking Lowe's and go buy some filters. They'll do it. Like I said, maintenance is normally handled by the landlord or property management. It's easier to get up and move in the event that your income changes or life happens. You know, you don't have to wait to put your house on the market and wait for this and that. You get to up and leave and move. And I think I mentioned to you before, my mom called me a gypsy. I used to love to move. Lease is up. Oh yeah, we moving. We moving again. Maybe I'll say 2 years. But we're going to move. We're going to find something new, get something fresh, new area, new people, new vibe. I like that. I love that. I was getting ready to tell you a story about me going to DC like 2 weeks ago or last week. And I think I went to DC. Let me tell you something. We're going to get into that later. It's just less responsibility. You know, when you're renting, you know, something breaks down. Say if, you know, the pipe bursts underneath the sink, the refrigerator goes, the dishwasher goes, the stove go out. The landlord or the maintenance property will take care of those big major expenses or items, if you will. It's easier to budget because you know what it is. Yes, in renting, you know, people sit and say, oh, you're not paying property tax. All that stuff is factored in because you're on a property. And whoever owns this place or trying to own this place, they're paying property tax for wherever this apartment complex is on, this condo is on. So all of that is factored in, but it's a less cost because it's being divided by not only you, but probably 100 other tenants. You have freed up cash instead of tying up in a home. Yes, you have to save money to have for your home just in case something happens, but you have to save that much because you're in an apartment or you're in a condo or something like that. You have more free cash. That's how I feel. You will have a little bit more disposable income because you're like, okay, I got to make sure I need money for my mortgage. I got to make sure I have money just in case the heater go out. I got to make sure I got to get these carpets clean. I got to have money for this, that, and third. And with renting, you don't really have to have that big of a kitty, not unless you're just trying to just have it just for a rainy day, But you gotta have a good stash of money. I feel like when you're renting, you're just looking for simplicity, flexibility, and just less physical upkeep. You just want to be free and do whatever you want to do, how you want to do it. And that's where I'm leaning. I think I like that. I like that. Renting gets looked down on. It gets looked down on a lot. Honestly, for some women in retirement, renting can be more peaceful, less responsibility, fewer surprise bills, more flexibility, and sometimes peace matters more than pride. It's time to make things easier. Now, again, like I said earlier, if you can have a paid off home in retirement and it fits your income, it's a blessing. Long as all the things that come with it is within your range. Now, what are some cons? There's some cons to, renting. There's no equity. Your rent can increase, just like your mortgage payment. I don't know why I feel I have to say that. I know we know it, but I feel like I was talking to someone recently and it was like, my mortgage payment went up. Well, no, your mortgage payment didn't go up. Your mortgage payment did not go up. Your escrow went up. So, because when I had to call one time when my payment first went up on my first home, I was like, hey, my mortgage payment. No, your mortgage payment didn't go up. What went up was your escrow. Due to where you live, your taxes went up. They had to adjust the rate. I got it. You have less control over the property. If you put a hole in the wall, you might have to fix it depending on how big the hole is. If you paint the walls blue, you probably have to paint them back the white or the cream that it came in before you move out. There's always something. If the property sells, you may have to move if you don't want to abide by what they have going on. So things can definitely happen and be some hiccups, while you're renting and living somewhere. Because, sometimes properties do, sell and leave. It can definitely feel less secure. You're secure for that year or that 15 months, however you see fit. And you're still paying for the owner's cost indirectly. So now renting is not perfect. You don't build equity and your rent can go up. And even though you're not the one writing the property tax check directly, the owner's cost definitely affects the rent they charge you. So what is better on a fixed income? There is no one size fit all. We are all individuals, and I know I may have my opinion, I may have my thoughts and whatnot, but we are all individuals and we all have to pick what's best for us. That's the main thing out of all of this. Knowing the pros and the cons of each and where do you see yourself and what do you want for yourself. The better choice is the choice that is sustainable. I see it like this. Buying is better on a fixed income when the home is paid off or close to paid off. Property taxes are manageable. Insurance is manageable. Repairs will not break your budget. You have a really, really good emergency fund. You plan to stay in this home for long term. And the home fits your age and needs. Now, when I say that, I mean like, okay, we getting older. Okay, knees cannot take it. I got 2 floors. Baby, I know they say, keep yourself active and keep yourself moving. I get it. But I can walk circles around a ranch versus being up and down on some steps. Especially if your laundry room's on the first floor, you got to bring the laundry down, this, that, and the third. I don't keep the laundry rooms up on top. Sometimes you got to take things from the first floor and bring it up because my previous home, my laundry was on the second floor. So if you got things like curtains or if you got like cloths or whatever the case may be, and you're trying to wash, you got to bring that up and you got to bring that down. I just know for me at this good age, I'm keeping myself active by going to the gym and things like that and walking my community and walking around in my house. But I know for a fact, I need to be in a ranch, something one level. You let me know your thoughts on that one. And renting is better when you want predictability in your responsibility. Okay, I got to pay for this, that, and this. I don't want to pay for that water heater. I don't want to pay for that grass upkeep. I don't want to pay for that. So you want to know what you're responsible for, and that's it. You don't want no surprises. And you want flexibility. I like flexibility. You want to preserve your cash. You don't want to be tied down to a property in your retirement years. And you just want to downsize your life and stress. Because, I'm just speaking for me. I'm not speaking for you. Sometimes, I got 5 bedrooms. I got stuff in every room. Do I need stuff in every room? No, I don't. Do I have it? Yes, I do. I don't want that in my retirement years. I don't. It's time to let go, push out, live free, minimalist, And for me, I don't want to leave my kids, my daughters, with any of that responsibility of sifting through my things and throwing things out, making a decision. No. If I haven't used it in the last 6 months, 6 years or a year, throw it out. So what's better on a fixed income? It's not what sounds better socially or social norms. It's what your budget can carry consistently. The best housing choice is the one where you can sleep good at night. You ain't worrying about nothing. If something can get paid, are you going to make this payment? Are you going to do this? That's the best decision. So I have a few questions for you. Ask yourself these questions. If my income stopped today, could I still live here comfortably? If I owned my home and needed repairs, could I pay it without panic? Do I want stability or do I want flexibility? Do I want control more than convenience? Would renting free up for travel, healthcare, saving, and simply more breathing room? Ask yourself those questions. Because I ask myself those questions. And I definitely have a conversation coming up about me questioning my plan. So think about those questions. So in saying all of that, I want you to take away from this conversation, don't make your decision based upon image. Make your decision based upon stability. A paid off house is wonderful, but can you carry the additional responsibilities? Renting may be a smarter move for some retirees, not all. Buying may be the smarter move for some, but not all. The goal is peace, stability, and a retirement plan that you can actually afford. So when it comes to renting versus buying at 55, I want us to ask what truly looks better for our money, our peace, and our future. Because the best retirement plan is the one you can afford and the one you can live with. Ladies, if you enjoyed this conversation, go ahead, thumbs up, hype it up. I love when you guys do it because it brings other like-minded Black women over 40 over here to us. And we love that, okay? Also, if you know a Black woman over 40 who would love conversation like this, go ahead and share it with her so she can come on over here and hang out with us in our little community and we can have a good time. Ladies, we have to do what's best for us in this climate as we are aging gracefully, okay? I will catch you in the next conversation.